California is currently facing a significant drought, and experts are uncertain about its end.
West, including all of California, is under drought conditions.
California marked its worst wildfire season on record in 2020.
I have never seen a fire this big in California, ever.
Exposing the new dangers of a changing climate.
We just did not anticipate a fire that went 7.5 miles in an hour and a half. I don't think anybody envisioned that happening.
Do you think you should have envisioned that happening?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Paradoxically, the state is also grappling with
4
severe
million
flooding.
people in the West remain under flood alerts.
We're not quite sure what we're going to do because everything that we had is
the cruel reality of what once felt like California's unlikeliest threat: too much water.
We call it now fire year instead of fire season.
The firefighters, you can see they're doing the best they can here to put the flames, but they are so close.
The firefighters spend a long time away from home on extended shifts, 24, 36, 48 hours without rest.
You have the notice right now to evacuate?
Grabbing computers, grabbing whatever we can.
Make sure you get all your belongings that you love.
This is very scary. They're panicked because they know that the fire's going on. It's one of those bizarre, surreal things that you think you're watching it and you're seeing it, but you're still not really comprehending.
I don't have anything to go back to, you know what I mean? But I just want to be here.
Wildfires are greater magnitude, more acres, more intense.
I'm gonna stay until it's beautiful
This
again.
peculiar situation raises the question of how such contrasting conditions can coexist. In this video, we will delve into this unusual phenomenon and explore the multi-billion-dollar megadam designed to address it. However, before delving into that, we must first discuss the water situation in California. Water has always been a challenge for California. Large parts of the state are officially classified as deserts, such as the Great Basin, Mojave, and Colorado regions. When American settlers arrived in the area centuries ago, they struggled to farm the land due to the scarcity of water. Unfortunately, the situation hasn't improved much.
As temperatures are heating up, so are emotions in the climate basin.
There's been a long-running struggle in the climate basin to ensure everyone gets enough water in the dry months.
This year, we don't know when water will begin flowing.
Last month, a rally in the Klamath Basin attracted thousands, worried about the water supply.
With low snowpack and warm weather, there's simply not enough water.
In October 2021, the governor declared a statewide drought emergency, urging citizens to reduce water usage by 15%.
Conservation becoming increasingly a way of life. 16% lower per capita consumption compared to the last drought.
However, as of 2023, the emergency still persists, with over 1,000 consecutive days of official drought conditions. Strangely enough, amidst this prolonged drought, California experienced a period of intense rainfall that led to major floods, causing damage to towns and cities, claiming lives, and prompting another state of emergency declaration. Consequently, the state finds itself simultaneously facing emergency drought and emergency floods.
One of the areas hit hardest by the storm
in Southern California, yet we're still weeks away from the official start of summer.
This peculiar scenario is primarily attributed to water management practices. While heavy rainfall occurs, most of the water isn't adequately collected and stored. Instead, it often drains away or flows into the sea, leaving California in a drought again once the rains subside.
2 years ago, we had that real wet year. It almost makes you want to cry because probably 80% of that water going down the river was going out to the ocean.
94 trillion liters of water has fallen over California in recent weeks. Millions of people remain under flood watches, yet much of that water has just returned to the ocean.
We need water in order to grow the crops. If the rain never comes back, I don't know what the consequences would be.
If we fail to meet these challenges, we will fail in a way that sends a despairing message to all Californians.
This is what much of California looks like right now. These bone-dry, barren fields. Farmers are worried they may not see a drop.
Like, you cannot know if we have gotten comfortable or took it for granted.
I don't know how we're sleeping at night. I mean, anyone paying attention to what's going on?
This prolonged, continuous water fight, it's killing us.
I'm a little more optimistic than most. Mother Nature is still bountiful, but she's not operating like she did 50 years ago. Hell, she's now operating like she did 10 years ago. And we have to reconcile.
We knew climate change would stress our water supplies, and we've been preparing for it, but we did not know it would happen this fast. This means we are attempting to adapt to climate
When we talk
change
about
in
farmers,
real time.
they're having to watch their crops die because they don't have enough water to water all of their plants.
We actually let a third of one of our orchards die because we didn't have enough water.
Well, we need in this water issue some leadership. Someone's got to take control and be a leader. We don't seem to
They
have
are
that
keepers
right now.
of the water. And I do believe they are making every effort they can to preserve water, to clean water, to find new ways. But there's so much more that we're
We're
be
getting too
doing.
liberal. You need someone in charge of the water program for the state of California.
I think we have the same goals. We want more water available for everybody. And I think instead of fighting each other over every drop, it's time to actually collaborate.
Around our planet belongs to all of us. From the far other side of the planet to right here in Southern California. So everybody needs to come together and adhere to these changes and to make those modifications so that we can stop what's happening right now.
drained. Mentally and emotionally drained. Praying for the people, praying for the animals, praying
We as
for the
individuals
fires.
cannot afford anymore not to act, to respond to a critical situation and realize that we're going to have to take incremental steps and look for solutions and implement them all the way down the line
It's frightening
now.
to think that if we don't change our behavior now, what we're going to leave for our children, what kind of planet are we going to leave behind? What kind of home are we going to have here in Southern California when we look at the kind of destruction that we're already seeing related to the fire, the water shortage? Those are scary thoughts.
The inability to collect enough water during rainy months exacerbates the seesaw effect between drought and excess water. California has attempted to address this issue before. In the 1950s, the State Water Project, SWP, was established with the aim of storing water during floods for use during droughts. The SWP involved constructing over 20 dams, including the famous Lake Oroville and Pyramid Lake reservoirs, which serve as giant reservoirs during periods of heavy rainfall. However, the original SWP was only stage one of a larger plan, with additional dams and canals scheduled for construction in the 80s and 90s. Nonetheless, these plans were postponed due to economic challenges and environmental concerns. The existing SWP components initially made a considerable difference, providing water for urban areas and agriculture, boosting the statewide economy. However, as California's population grew, the demand for water increased, putting a strain on the system. Climate change has further aggravated the situation, with rising temperatures leading to more severe heat waves and worsening droughts. Consequently, California's water management system urgently requires an upgrade to meet the state's growing needs. To address these challenges, California is now planning to build the Sites Reservoir, a large off-river reservoir located north of Sacramento. The reservoir aims to capture excess water from major storms and store it for use during drier periods. It has been proposed since the 1950s, but was considered too ambitious and costly back then. However, recent circumstances have made it clear that such a project is now worth the investment. The construction of the Sites Reservoir will involve building dams to enclose the valley, creating a large waterproof basin. Instead of damming a river, as was done for the Oroville Dam, water will be pumped from the Sacramento River during rainy months and directed into the site's valley. During dry seasons, the water can be released to provide relief to nearby areas. The project also incorporates hydroelectric generators to recoup about 80% of the energy used for pumping water. While the Sites Reservoir promises to be beneficial in alleviating California's water challenges, it comes with some concerns. The cost of the project could potentially result in high water prices, raising affordability issues. Additionally, environmental groups are concerned about the impact on fish migration along the Sacramento River. However, the project aims to minimize disruptions by incorporating advanced fish screens and using the reservoir to support local species during dry seasons. The construction of the Sites Reservoir is currently scheduled to begin in the next few years, aiming for completion by 2030 or 2031. The success of the project will significantly contribute to California's water management efforts, providing a much-needed buffer against future droughts and floods. As with any major undertaking, there are pros and cons to consider. While the site's reservoir holds promise as a solution to California's water challenges, it is essential to address potential drawbacks and ensure responsible water management practices. The project's completion will be a significant step in securing California's water future, but it will require careful monitoring and consideration of its broader impact on the environment and the people who depend on it. Please let us know your view regarding this expensive mega reservoir project in California in the comments section. We aim to provide you with valuable insights and captivating content regularly. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our latest episode.